BoLS fans, AdamHarry back again with a really fast overview of Frostgrave, which is a fantasy war game in the Frozen City. It's actually a skirmish game with small bands of up to 10 miniatures go toe-to-toe in the Frozen City, trying to loot and pillage and get loot and get better. It's a campaign system, so there is some light bookkeeping involved, but this is from Osprey Games, and here's the back of the book. It's a really fun system, really fast, really easy to pick up and play. It's a 28mm designed for, you can use other size models, but it's recommended 28mm. You can use bigger models, and you may want to adjust the ranges and stuff, but that's all you and your buddies playing. Yeah, but it's a pretty malleable system as far as miniatures go. It uses D20s, so if you've got some D20s laying around, it's a super great combat system. Matter of fact, let me just explain the combat really fast. The combat takes place, it's a D20 system. You roll your fight stat compared to the other guy's fight stat. So any modifier there, D20 plus a modifier, compare the two numbers. The winner is whoever rolls the highest, and then whatever the difference is, subtract the other guy's armor, and that's how much damage you just did. So if I rolled a 15 and you rolled a 7, I would beat you by 8 points, and then you would have to compare your armor stat to the damage taken, and if you had no armor, you would take 8 points. If you had 10 armor, you would take 0 points. Pretty straightforward for as far as the basic fighting goes. There's obviously shooting rules involved too, which are like that, but you can roll the dodge. Again, it's if you are an Infinity player, those are kind of like opposed checks. But there's really simple. The rules themselves are about 10 pages. They're not super complicated. Most of this book is actually spells and wizards and how to build them. So, matter of fact, let's just run through this real quick. Wizards and warbands, how to build those out. Assembling warband. Chapter 2 is actually playing the game. You've got the turn. Goes over that really fast. Again, not a ton of rules. This looks like a big section, but it's really only about 9 pages, maybe 15 total, if you look at everything. So, and then this is a 120-ish page book. So 20 pages, if that, out of 120, there's 120 pages of not rules. So yeah, there you go. It's a pretty simple system, but I think there's a certain elegance in that simpleness. So the biggest thing about this game, obviously, is creating your wizard. The wizard is going to be the heart, backbone, brain, and linchpin of your army. So you can use any type of miniatures. Basically, any fantasy miniatures you have that represent your warband would work great. Dice, a couple of D20s. You may need more than, you probably won't need more than a handful, but 2 would probably be great. Creating the wizard, the hardest part, I think, is actually choosing the wizard type you want to be. I want to go through this real quick because I think they're probably one of the coolest things about this game. So there's 10 different wizard types, and each type of wizard is a different spell school, different options and stuff like that. But I'm going to read over some of the ones you may not recognize. Some of them are pretty obvious, like a necromancer. Gee, I wonder what they do. Chronomancers are also known as time riders. They manipulate time. So you might have a young wizard. It's actually one of the youngest magic schools according to the fluff. So you may have a guy that's super young that can warp through time, or an old guy that's been practicing for a long time, or maybe just got into it and had an accident. I don't know. So he looks all wrinkly. But it's pretty cool. So they have time magic. Elementalists, these are the people that throw fireballs, lightning, ice, that type. Pretty cool stuff. Enchanters, these are the hands-on wizards. So they invent new objects or upgrade stuff, kind of craftsman-y. Illusionist, pretty obvious. They're going to be the ones making shadows and clones or whatever. Yeah, making stuff disappear and all that fun stuff. Necromancers probably have to do with raising the dead or stuff like that. Sigillists, they work their magic through reading and writing, which is pretty interesting. Their kind of archetype is the super nerdy bookwormish kind of wizards with, like, you know, a ton of books but no real armor or anything. They just have that. Soothsayers, these guys are the fortune tellers and seers of the universe, kind of like crystal ball, like starry gaze type people, kind of far out there, man. Summoners, obviously these guys are going to be the ones summoning extraplanar creatures. In this game, all extraplanar creatures are called demons. They may not be necessarily evil or have horns or hooves, but they are still called demons. And usually summoners summoning demons, the demon is never happy when they're summoned. Thaumaturge, this is the healer class, basically. They do a lot of good stuff, goody two shoes, but they're not passive They're definitely they will mess you up, but they focus on healing and helping, which is really more of an alchemist, I would say. But they're called witches. Again, male or female wizards doesn't really matter. It's important to point that out. There are male witches in this universe. They just, you know, throw potions and gather rat tails and, you know, toenail clippings or whatever. But those are the 10 ones there. Here's the stat line real quick. Again, this game is super simple as far as that. Stat line, you have your movement, your fight, your shooting ability, your armor, your will, and your health. Pretty straightforward. This is a starting wizard example here too. So 6 movement means you can move 6 inches for 1 move action. We'll get to that in a second. Fight is +2, so +2 to your fight roll. Shooting is 0, +0. So if you roll a straight up die, that's how the shooting works. Armor is 10, so you have to beat the wizard by more than 10 points to actually inflict any damage, which is important. Will, excuse me, not wounds. Will is their determination, courage, ability to resist spells. So I guess if you throw a harmful spell at them, they have a +4 to resist that. And then health. So health is how many wounds they have, how much damage they can take before they die. Pretty straightforward. They mentioned the split stat thing. Basically, this is for record keeping. If you've got like a bonus, so to your fight skill, there's like a +1 bonus, like you got a sword and dagger or whatever. Your fight's actually a +3, but your real skill is only a +2. That's why there's split stats there. The apprentice is like a mini wizard. They have the same spells, and their stats are actually based off of the wizard stats, -2 in most cases, and -4 in the health department. But they're little mini wizards. They can fire spells off just like the other guy. They have the same spell list because they're apprentices, so they're learning from the wizard. So, but they're very important. During the activation step, all of the players, the first primary player whoever has initiative is going to activate their wizard first, and then everybody activates their wizard, and up to 3 models within 3 inches, which we'll get to later. Then the apprentices go. Same deal. They can activate an apprentice and up to 3 models within 3 inches that haven't gone yet. Obviously, soldiers that haven't gone yet. And then soldiers go and all that fun stuff. So it's important to have an apprentice in your warband. So you want to start with wizard, build a warband to start with, go apprentice, and then you hire soldiers. These are the generic goons. There's a bunch of different archetype here. From warhounds to thugs, all the way to knights, templars, rangers, and marksmen. And they have different values for their stats and all that fun stuff, different costs associated with them with that. The cost does go up exponentially compared like a thug to, say, like a knight. So the price-wise, you're paying for quality. So keep that in mind. You know, there is kind of a mob rule in effect. So for each additional guy modeling in the combat, you get a +2 cumulative modifier, so it can be kind of beneficial. But then again, warbands are limited to 10 models, so again, keep that in mind. But that's pretty much it as far as like warband building. There's more stuff in there. If you want to buy the book and go check it out, do that. Playing the game, by the way, the book itself, it's chock full of really cool artwork like that, a lot of model pictures. It looks really cool, so it's worth keeping around. I love the format. There's a lot of extra empty white space, so it's not too straining on the eye, I think, and it looks really nice too. These are all spells back here, chapter 4 spells, all the different spell descriptions. I'm not going to go over all that because that's kind of why you want to buy the book. Magic items and that stuff like that. So, but playing the game, it is a campaign-based system. Ideally, you'd want to play the game with some buddies in the campaign, but as far as the actual game turns, you roll for initiative. You have the wizard phase, again, move the wizard 3 models, apprentice phase, apprentice and up to 3 models, soldier phase, all that stuff, and then creature phase. These are any creatures that are not part of your warband, I guess. So, yeah. Group activations, so that's when you activate your wizard and extra models. You can do all that stuff. Activations are basically when you activate a model, they get a move action and an extra action. So that move action, the first action they take, one of those, if they have 2 actions, one of those must be a movement action. The second action can either be move, fight, shooting, spellcasting, or special actions or whatever. So just to be clear about that, you can only ever, one of your actions always has to be move, but you can do those in any order. So you can shoot and then move, or move and then shoot, or you can just, you know, I guess you can move but not really move and attack or whatever. One of those has to be a move action. Group activations work a little bit differently. All of the models that have been activated in the group have to move first, and then you can do other stuff. So if I had a wizard and 3 guys, I'd have to move the wizard and 3 guys, and then one guy can shoot, one guy can attack, another guy can move again. Well, let me make sure. I believe you can actually go back to the move again part. You have to complete all the movements first. So right here, where was I reading? 2, 3 soldiers. Yeah, over here in the movement page on 32. Anytime a figure takes 2 or more movement actions. Hang on, this group moves a little weird. All movement must be completed. Yeah, so you have to actually complete all your move. So again, just to reiterate, complete all your move actions first, and then do the secondary actions. Anyway, it's on page 32. I'm running out of time here. I'm gonna skip over that. Go read it yourself. Don't watch my video and then try to play this game. But it is a cool game. I just want to say it's super simple as far as that goes. You need to read that section, but it'll be fine. These are the combat examples, like who gets a bonuses when. So in this example, A1 and A2 would get bonuses against B1. In this example, they would cancel out. They would cancel out again. This example, again, everybody's going to cancel out. And this example is weird. B1 would get canceled out because against A1 because B2 and A2 would cancel each other out. But if A1 or A2 attacked B1, they would get a +2 bonus from this guy who's a creature. So anyway, these are just random combat examples. There is an optional rule for critical hits, which is kind of cool. You do double damage. So yeah, shooting and modifiers. Shooting is very similar. And then empowering spells, that's a big thing you can do. So it's all about collecting treasure, creature actions, all that fun stuff. But yeah, this is a campaign system, which is one of the things I wanted to touch on before the end of the video. Basically, it's Mordheim or Necromunda, if you want to compare it to another game. There are permanent injuries. You roll in the chart there. They're pretty cool. So yeah, check those out. It is a campaign system. I like that fact about it. And yeah, it's one of those things, like, I think at a certain point you'd probably want to retire your group from getting, you know, if you're stomping everybody, you probably want to retire them and start a new one. Run short seasons. I would recommend like 4 games or something like that, or keep playing whatever, you know. If you want to go 12 weeks every week, it's up to you. So but yeah, it's a pretty great system. There's tons of magic items to tweak your army out, your warband out, stuff like that. So yeah, it just gives it that little extra flavor. That's pretty much it for this overview. I probably spent way too much time on combat and movement. It's really not that complicated. Like I said, super short rule set. Most of the stuff in this book is background for the wizards and spellcasting and stuff like that. But it's a pretty cool little quick skirmish game. It is designed for multiple players because of that initiative system. You can have, you can probably run like 20 people in one game if you wanted to get crazy. But I'd probably go like, you can play a 4-player campaign game, no problem. Each player rolls for initiative. Each player rolls a d20. The highest player goes first. Reroll any ties, and then you know, just go down the list. So initiative kind of bounces around back and forth throughout the game. And that's pretty cool. So go check it out. Frostgrave from Osprey Games. I'm AdamHarry. This has been another quick BoLS overview, a little bit longer than I wanted to. Sorry about that. Hope you enjoyed it. AdamHarry from BoLS sign off. Have a good one.